Bermuda, Bahamas, come on pretty mamas, it's time to take things slow and easy like a Sunday morn. I'm your host, Shane Lockwood. Today is the 11th of March 2018 and this is episode
69, dudes!
Thank you, Bill and Ted. To all the regular listeners, welcome back, and to brand new listeners, welcome aboard. This show is a relaxation-based self-improvement program, so why not sit back, relax, and take things easy like a Sunday morn, as I say in each and every episode. If you are sitting down on your favorite armchair, couch, sofa, whatever, with a beverage or two, just sit back and relax. If you are in bed trying to get some sleep, a lot of people use this podcast to help them ease their minds and just calm things down, let go of the dramas of the day, of the previous week, and just help them to drift off to sleep and things like that. So if you're doing that, get comfortable, learn to focus on your breathing, forget everything. Maybe switch off the lights depending on where you are and how you are listening to this. Make yourself at home, make yourself very comfortable. And for those of you who like all the hints and tips and things like that I sometimes convey, feel free to sit at a coffee table, a kitchen table, and with a notepad and a pen or whatever it is that you use to take notes with, and away we go. The purpose of this podcast is to embrace tranquility, to embrace the feeling that one gets very early on a Sunday morning, before people have got to go to church, before people are starting lawnmowers and things like that and disturbing the peace, before dogs have started barking, and even before the birds have even started chirping. There's probably about a 30-minute to an hour where there's not a whole lot of noise. People are still sleeping in even. And you take that and we're trying to expand it out across from Sunday morning throughout Sunday to the rest of the week. With that 30 minutes, you can plan your week. You can write lists of shopping things that need to be done, laundry, meal preparation for recipes and things that you need to do, a whole heap of things that you need to, it's your life, right? So the idea being that you just say, look, this is my 30 minutes. You turn off all your electronic stuff except for whatever you're doing to listen to this, and you just relax, unwind, expand your mind a little bit. What we're trying to do is let go of all the dramas of the previous week, the stuff that happened at work, all the near misses in the traffic, all the he said, she said stuff, all the political stuff that's going on. You know, there's school shootings in America. There's a whole heap, and started yet another gun debate on Facebook and whatnot. So you let go of all those sort of little niggly things that happened, right? But at the same time, we're going to let go of the stuff that needs to be done Sunday afternoon. We're going to let go of the stuff that needs to be done throughout the rest of the week, right? And we're just going to center ourselves. We're just going to focus, bring it all in. Now, if you are sitting on your favorite armchair, couch, sofa with your favorite beverage, feel free to relax and have a few drinks. If you are lying on your bed and you're trying to get some sleep, get comfortable, just adjust the pillows and all that sort of stuff, and focus on slowing your breathing down, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, and try and keep up that rhythm if you can, and just focus on your breathing, breathing in, listen to the sound of my voice, and that should put most people to sleep. I'm not offended by that. There's a few people actually telling me slowly. I think they're embarrassed to tell me that they use my podcast to go drift off to sleep. I don't mind. I don't mind at all. I just wish that people would be clicking like on the various formats that you see this and listening to this podcast, and maybe share it around to people that you know that maybe are insomniac, or they just want to relax and unwind after a hard day's work. Why not listen to this while you're having a bit of a beer and relax before you even head home, right? In your car, just listen to this for 30 minutes or so. There are 15-minute episodes. It doesn't matter the date of the episode. Just start listening to an episode. Just relax and unwind so you're not taking all that animosity home with you, to your wife, to your significant other, to your partners, to the people you live with, whatever's going on, whatever your situation happens to be. And you'll be a much nicer person to get along with, because you're not carrying all that stress and garbage from Janet in the office, who did something horrible and now you hate her guts as a result, and all that sort of stuff. You're just letting go of all that sort of stuff just for 30 minutes. 30 minutes, right? You clear your mind, right? And then you can start planning for next week, the things that need to be done, whether it's the laundry, whether it's the shopping, meal preparations, if you are trying to lose weight, setting out gym times, all sorts of stuff. The stuff that you have to do all the time, but you can have a bit more of a focus behind it. If you want to save money, you can work out financial plans and budgets and all sorts of other things like that. You can get back to your family. You increase contact with your family, increase contact with your business contacts, and make sure you are emailing the people that you need to be emailing, and just get yourself organized, right? I did a program called 52 Weeks Until Awesome, and I'm going to change it to 52 Weeks of Awesome. So we're doing something awesome every week with the goal of having achieve something major a year from now, sort of thing. And one of the things that I started was the $5 challenge. And what it is, every time you get a $5 note in your change, then you put it aside in an envelope and you don't spend it until the end of the year, or you don't even open the envelope and count the money until the end of the year. But I cheated a little bit, and I'm in the sense that I did count the money, and I'm up around $135, and that can pay for a lot of stuff. But I think I'm just going to leave it there as just an emergency backup if ever I need money. If there's something ever goes wrong, I've got this money there, and just build up my personal wealth and personal self-worth a little bit. And now it's not a lot of money by most people's standards, but from where I was when I first started this podcast, that's quite a bit of money. So it's a bit of chump change, and that money can go to charity, it can go anywhere. But it's only March, so who knows what kind of money that would turn into by the end of the year. So it'd be fun finding out. I mentioned school shootings and things that are happening in America, and it's become a very, very divisive topic. And it's something that I don't really talk about here. I don't talk about gun control because it all gets very political. And I think sometimes as an Australian, because I know that gun control worked here, I forget that I am privileged in that sense. And would it work in America? I don't know. I don't know the logistics of it all. And then you get people arguing left and right. And they're going to take our guns away, and constitutional issues, and it gets very complicated and very messy. I have a few friends that are pro-gun, and one of my anti-gun friends decided to attack them, and that's where I draw the line. You don't attack my friends, regardless of their points of view, because I want to find out why is someone pro-gun. and you find out, you dig a little bit deeper, and then you realize that they've had personal experiences in their life where they felt where if they had a gun, a small handgun, then those situations would have ended very differently. And I'm the kind of person that has been bullied and picked on throughout his life, and it still hasn't stopped. I'm still being bullied at work, and that's going to come to a head very shortly. But I don't have access to firearms, and as easy as it would be to just pull out a gun and blow away all the bullies, I can't do that. So it becomes a thing of trying to find out where people are coming from and why they believe a certain thing. But I don't attack people who have different points of view than my own, and I think that it doesn't help anybody to do that. So I had to remove the pro-gun friend eventually from my... No, actually, she removed herself. Now, this is how crazy the pro-gun person was. I had uploaded a picture of a chocolate donut, and that triggered so much nonsense, right? I didn't say the chocolate donut was healthy. What I had done was I shared it on Instagram in the health fitness areas, the hashtags of Instagram, and just saying, look, yeah, you're trying to lose weight and you're focusing on your fitness and stuff like that, but don't go crazy with it. It is about calories in versus calories out, but at the same time, don't have a mental aversion to any particular food, because in terms of like calories and sugar and fat content and sodium and all this sort of stuff, a chocolate donut has the exact same amount of calories, sugar, fat, etc. as, say, a ham and cheese salad roll, and one's deemed healthy, one isn't, but it's the same content but in a different form. So that's all I was trying to say. Anyway, she went off her nut. She started attacking me and things. Now, I agreed with what she was saying, but she didn't give me the room to respond to that. So that was unfortunate. She ended up unfriending me over that, over a picture of a chocolate donut. And it's always the little things. It's never like an extreme view, like an extreme right-wing view versus an extreme left-wing view. It's always something trivial, like a chocolate donut or a Pokemon Go meme or something like that. It's strange. People are very, very strange. Anyway, on to some really cool positive news. I went and saw the Black Panther movie. It's absolutely fantastic. I really highly recommend it. Marvel did a really, really good, fantastic job. There's a whole heap of black actors, and I can name a few more that hopefully will be in the sequel, but absolutely fantastic. Stay to the end of the credits, as always. I think, for those of you that don't know, the Black Panther character was basically Marvel Comics' answer to Batman, and it was during the civil rights movement and things like that. So I thought, hey, why don't we have this character who represents like a black audience and tells a black story and things like that. So fantastic. Do check out the comics, but also check out the movie. In comics news, Kid Phantom is a brand new comic about the young adventures of the Phantom, if you are familiar with that particular comic book character, played by Billy Zane in the movie, I think. Yeah, I think it was Billy Zane. I managed to see all 3 seasons of the original Land of the Lost. It's quite trippy to watch it these days. It also highlights how sexist we used to be back then in the 70s, but it also highlights how far we've come, how much progress we've come in treatment of women and things like that. It's also amazing what can be done with just simple animatronics and a whole heap of green screen work, and there's a fair bit of bad acting and things like that. But the costumes are amazing. The Sleestak, which are these reptilian creatures, are amazing. You got the Picuni, which are these ape-like creatures. Now, one of the Picuni, the first Picuni that the crew meet, is named Chaka, or Chaka, CHA-KA, Chaka. And there seems to be a little bit of contention because Chaka, like the show Land of the Lost, aired in 1975. It takes 2 years, roughly, to make a film and do all the special effects and things like that. In 1977, a little movie called Star Wars was released with a character called Chewbacca. Now, both of these creatures are very hairy. They sound alike in their names, but one of them came first. Chaka, Chewbacca. Now, could there be a potential lawsuit or things like that? Who knows? There was a potential lawsuit with the father of the show. Rick Marshall is the name of the character. He left after the second season after merchandising rights issues, and he thought that he should have got like a bit more of a piece of the pie, and I think he deserved it. I think he did a great job. Anyway, so they replaced him because he walked off the set. They couldn't agree, so they kept the show going, and the third season is really bad. They replaced, obviously they replaced the father with an uncle. They had to think of a reason for him to be there in the Land of the Lost and things like that. But they had stories with Medusas and Yetis and all sorts of weird and wonderful things. And it's funny to watch it from just for like entertainment purposes, but like the schlock value of it all. And it was a shame too, because you can tell that they've put a lot of effort and love into the designs of, say, the Sleestaks. And that's spelled Sleestak. But their costumes are amazing, fantastic design. And the animatronics is quite good for its time, with the dinosaurs screeching and things like that. Oh, and the mythology behind the show. See, it's a Land of the Lost. They're not actually in a prehistoric area, but it's a combination of different planets and different time periods, and there's a lot of time travel and things like that within the show. There are these pylons that do different things, and yeah, it's very complicated and things like that. There's also a Picuni language. The Picuni are the hairy ape creatures, and they actually went and made a language that they were consistent with when they were using that in the show. The third season, of course, had Shaka speaking very broken English and getting better at English as he was going along, which sort of lost a bit of the appeal, I think. But I also saw the 2009 movie with Will Ferrell, which wasn't too bad. They tried to incorporate a lot of the stuff from the TV show, and they definitely improved on the special effects and things like that. But it only made me laugh once, and for a comedy, it just wasn't that good. But I enjoyed what I saw. I do think that they could have possibly gone a bit more back with the source material and focused a bit more on the strangeness, the otherworldliness of the show, made it a little bit more serious and less comedic, and I think it would have been a bit more of a box office success if they had the heart and the spirit of the show. The other thing I managed to finally get, I've been after it for such a long time, is the Batman, the original 1966 Batman TV series. It's the 3 seasons on Blu-ray, and that's very entertaining to watch again, when you realize that certain characters are very underrated. There's a character by the name of Aunt Harriet. Now, what they had done was they got Adam West and Burt Ward, before Adam West passed away last year, to record voices as Batman and Robin for a animated series called The Return of the Cape Crusaders. Now, in Return of the Cape Crusaders, there's actually a reference to Aunt Harriet, who, if you watch the original show, Bruce Wayne is constantly lying to Aunt Harriet to cover their activities as Batman and Robin. And part of the show is they constantly make references to going on these fishing trips. Now, in the Cape Crusaders animated movie, I should say, Aunt Harriet makes a reference to them. Whether they're running off, you'd think that they were Batman and Robin. Alfred doesn't say anything. And then she very slyly hints that all these fishing trips are somehow Brokeback Mountain related. And so there's this play on that Aunt Harriet thinks that Bruce Wayne and Dick Ward are actually gay lovers, But it harkens back to the reason Aunt Harriet was invented was because they wanted to basically get rid of the idea that three men in a cave would be having this sexual relationship. They did the exact same thing with Doctor Who, and by giving the Doctor a daughter by the name of Susan. So, and the Doctor would be not a daughter, granddaughter. So the Doctor was Susan's grandfather. So them being in a TARDIS together, there was no funny business because obviously they're related and there's an age difference and so on and so forth. But those were very different times in the 60s and 70s. I did mention the woman being triggered by a chocolate donut, and that became a bit of a meme on what I was doing on Facebook and things like that. I did mention about gun control, and Australia had another gun amnesty, and they recovered 57,000 guns during that gun amnesty, and I think it was the first amnesty since 1996, where that was after the Port Arthur massacre. Now, I was under the impression that we had these gun amnesty buyback things every year, but obviously we did not. The French for the word 69 is 69, and in their culture it has the same connotation in regards to mutual intimacy. Bryan Adams has a song called Summer of 69. When Adams appeared on the Early Show in 2008, he was asked about Summer of 69 and its lyrical meaning. Adams said the song was about sex and making love in the summertime. 69 is a reference to the position of intimacy. Those were the best days of his life. Yeah, I know that was pretty bad. But what I will do is just want to say thank you to Tradie Trev and a few other people for your feedback. You've let me know that this particular podcast can be fairly boring or it puts you to sleep and things like that. That's fine. I try to be as exciting and whatnot as I can. Very often this hurts my throat to talk for this long. It's not just the 30 minutes of recording. It's the re-recording and re-recording and re-recording, and sometimes it can take up to several hours to get a particular podcast episode out. Depending on what I'm doing, sometimes I'll just do a live show and that's it, but the quality drops if I do something like that. But yeah, the feedback is very important to me, so do leave comments and things where you can. I know that certain apps won't allow you, but I do have a Facebook group. Go over to the Facebook group and leave comments and things, and I will read them. And I will do my absolute best to incorporate that into the podcast where possible. Also, special thanks go to those of you who don't just listen to the show, but actually care enough to see that it keeps going via donations on Patreon, you've made it possible for me to be able to donate $100 to a young girl's autism walkathon fundraiser without having a second thought in my mind as to whether I could go ahead and do that. Previously, I wouldn't have been able to do that on my own, so that's just incredible. Thank you very much for doing that. While this podcast will always be free to download, a per episode donation via Patreon grants you access to my entire back catalogue of episodes and exclusive Patreon only content and other free stuff as well. So it's worth checking out. All you've got to do is go to patreon.com/ELASM. It's free to visit. You don't get charged for visiting at all. If you do want to set up an account, it's very easy to do. You can do it with your own Facebook account and give them your details, and we can start doing a whole heap of really, really cool stuff. I want to elevate this podcast to not just helping people to relax. I want to actually do stuff with charity work and things like that, a bit more humanitarian stuff. And I'm just asking that you guys that want to help can and do, and we can get a whole heap of things happening. Okay, so a few of you have complained that your favorite episodes are unavailable in your various podcasting apps. And the reason for that is really, really simple. YouTube is free. Podcasting is not free. You have to pay a podcasting host. Now, whether it might be Libsyn or Spreaker or Blueberry or a whole heap of them, right? I went with Spreaker because they allowed me to upload 10 free episodes before I start either paying them money or deleting episodes. Because I couldn't afford to pay them money, I set up a Patreon account and asked you guys who genuinely love the show if you could actually throw a few coins my way, and that would help to pay for the costs. And I did this several years ago. There's only a handful of people that actually wanted to help me, and one of those people bailed and decided to fund a rich celebrity instead, which is fine. Okay, I just don't support their products or have anything to do with them anymore. But most of you aren't doing that. Most of you are not contributing to my Patreon account, which makes it very difficult, and it puts a burden on those of you who are, and that's unfair. It's a simple donation of $1 per episode. Okay, you still get the free content. I'm prepared to make additional content for my Patreon subscribers, right? You still get a link. You'll get a link to all the back episodes of this particular podcast. Okay, and then you can download them and you can have them on whatever device you want. Patreon has an app that allows you to play podcasts, and through it I'll upload photos and all sorts of weird and wonderful things, but I just need enough money to be able to pay Spreaker for more storage space, and then we're good to go. I had a computer die. I've said this over and over again. I want to at least have a little bit of money set aside in case of emergencies, so that I can do this sort of stuff. A friend, and I want to say thank you to a friend who gave me a few electronic iPads and things like that. I do have an iPad that works. I don't like the audio quality on it. It's different to this. But in a pinch, I can record a podcast if necessary. It's time for me to go. I've spent at least 5 hours editing this. It's actually been longer. It's been 7 hours. But anyway, I've got to go. This, and people wonder why I don't do this more often. It takes a long time and nobody's paying for it. Anyway, I'll leave you with this. Take today, the rest of today, and the rest of the week easy like a Sunday morn. Bye for now. See you next time. And before I forget, the code word is brunch. B-R-U-N-C-H. Bye again.